So Jason, we live in a world that says success, happiness comes from material possessions. This is a measure of your success. This is a measure of your happiness. The church holds out a very different view of happiness and of success. I have a quote here, and those who've seen the title of the video, you already know who said it, but you don't know who said it.
Mystery for me.
Mystery quote. We've done this before. The famous businessman, he's now deceased. This is what he said as he was close to dying.
Kermit the Frog.
Was he a businessman?
I'm sorry. I know, that's stupid. Go ahead.
I reached the pinnacle of success in the business world. In many people's eyes, my life is the epitome of success. However, aside from work, I have little joy. At this moment, lying on my bed and recalling my life, I realize that all the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have paled and become meaningless in the face of my impending death. Whichever stage in life you are right now, whatever stage of life you're in right now, with time, you will face the day when the curtain comes down. Treasure your family, your friends. As we grow older, we realize that a $13,000 gold Rolex and a $30 watch both tell the same time. You will realize that your true inner happiness does not come from the material things of this world. Whether you fly first class or economy, if the plane goes down, you go down with it. This is a guy facing death, looking at his billions that he's made and saying, how did I spend my life? And he guesses
Has he passed away already?
Yeah.
He has. Oh gosh, I can't.
I'll give you a little hint.
Hefner, is it?
No,
Okay.
hint.
Oh, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
What do you make of that? What do you think he's wrestling with, and how should we take what he's saying to heart?
Well, if a human being is honest at the point of death, unless we're completely delusional to ourselves, we're lying to ourselves. If we're honest and trying to face reality, this is the truth for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to reckon with this, no matter what we have or don't have. That we have to let it go. We can't keep it. You can't take it with you, so to speak. That's what they say. But
Yeah,
it's true.
it's
a
true.
great humbling experience for all of us. We all die.
Yeah, we're on. This has hit me. You and I are at the same age. We're in our early 50s. But hitting 50 for me a couple of years ago was an eye-opener, because in my mind, I know the math doesn't work, but in my mind, my dad is 50. That's just kind of the stage of life where I've kind of frozen him. And my dad's now in his 80s. Your dad's pushing 90.
Just turned 90.
We only have one generation in front of us, and they're close to the end. We're all on a conveyor belt. We're all gonna fall off. Your dad, my dad, your mom, my mom, are still alive, but they're close to falling off the cliff. And then we're in the front. Like, we got nobody buffering death in our family tree anymore. We're on the edge, and it's coming. It's impending. And that is, as you said, it's this great equalizer. Like, if we take it seriously, and we really should, facing death is the human conundrum. And I don't know any real answer to it. If I'm honest about the cry of my heart, I don't know any real answer to it other than what Christianity has on offer. I mean, lots of religions talk about an afterlife and place some hope in nirvana or reincarnation or, some form of afterlife. But it's a kind of spiritual existence where this body just goes and rots away, and then your spirit floats off to nirvana or whatever version of heaven you believe. But Christianity holds this remarkable, astounding belief. Yes, our bodies return to dust, but they're not destined to remain dust. Our dust is destined to be divinized. This Jason that I know, this Christopher that I am, a union of body and soul, Christianity proclaims that our bodies are destined for glory.
Yeah.
I think Steve Jobs is wrestling with this. Like, he's amassed all these material goods or material things, sought happiness and value in them, and now he knows the one material reality that is literally what and who he is, his body. Not that we're only the body, we're this union of body and soul, but he's reckoning with the fact that he's going to return to dust.
Yeah.
Only in my experience does this proclamation of a resurrection really console and address the conundrum of death.
Yeah, I agree. And it's, again, I think we're lying to ourselves. Look, the fear of death is throughout all of human history. You look at our art and our literature and, the music and everything that we make, love and death are probably the two biggest topics of all of those things. Because love stirs our soul, and it's what we yearn for and long for, and death is the great horror that we all face and we don't want to deal with. It's in Scripture. It's the church documents speak about it really amazingly. I remember in 5th grade as a young kid, it dawned on me that I might die, and I thought, what if heaven's not real? And it horrified me as a little kid, horrified me. And I didn't even know how to talk about it. And I held it inside myself for a long time. And now as an adult, I realized that's not a unique experience. Like, that's a common human experience. Maybe I experience it my own way, but I still feel that even now and through my whole life to some degree. And I love what you said about, this idea of theology of the body and the Christian faith, helping us understand that we're body and soul. Like, it's maybe a nice idea that I escape my body and I live in some spiritual realm, but that's like a fantasy. That's fantasy. Yeah. What I know is what I live, right? Like, that's what I know. I know this. And it's full of pain and suffering because my body aches and it's getting older and all that. But what I know and relate to is this. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
You're a real person. You're right here because I see your body, and we can, shake hands and hug each other and go play basketball, and we can have a conversation. I can see your facial expressions and all this. Like, that's, if I really think about an existence without that, in one sense that might sound nice, but I don't think that's
it's
not
no
the
longer
real deal.
A human existence.
It's not. Mm-mm.
And it sounds nice in a kind of tempting way because of the suffering of being bodies. In a world where there is bodily suffering and bodily death,
that's right.
We can hope, or we can seek a relief from that suffering by eschewing the body or rejecting the body. Or I remember I was on an airplane once with a woman, and she asked me what I did, and I get that question a lot, and I told her a little bit about the work I do and theology of the body, and she was a believer, so we were having this conversation in a Christian context, and I started talking about the resurrection of the body, and she said, "Honey, this body is gonna be in the ground. I don't even want this body. I'm gonna fly away free." Yeah. And she was just adamant against the idea of a resurrection of the body. And as we had a 3-hour conversation on a long flight, she unfolded that there'd been a lot of suffering with her body, and she had come to hate her body. And she thought Christianity held out this idea of liberation from the body. It
liberation from the fallen
exactly.
body. Yes.
It is liberation from the suffering body, from the pained body.
Yeah.
But it's not liberation from the body. Christianity holds out not salvation from the flesh, but salvation of the flesh. Yeah. And that's much more appealing to me. And I think it presses right into this conundrum that Steve Jobs was facing as his death was impending and approaching. It is a horrifying thought that the body separates from the soul at death. I love what Peter Kraft says here. He says, "Why are we terrified of both ghosts and corpses?" Right? This is the stuff of our horror movies, right? Yeah. Ghosts and corpses. He says they are the obscenely separated aspects of what we know belong together as one. And an afterlife that solidifies that rupture does not really answer the human quandary, the human conundrum, the human terror that death is.
That doesn't answer that doesn't answer our reality any more than reducing us to animals.
That's right.
And doesn't do
Doesn't do
respect
justice
and
to who we are as human beings.
The idea of death, that's total separation. It's why it horrifies us, and it rightly horrifies us. But it's not the end of the story.
Yeah. Craif says in that same quote, he says, the resurrection of the body is not an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If the two don't come back together again, body and soul, we don't have our real humanity. Mm-hmm. And Christianity is a response to our real humanity and our real questions and our real longings. Mm-hmm. You brought together this idea of love and death earlier, that these are the stuff of our poetry mm-hmm. and our longings and our music, and it comes together right in the Song of Songs, where the lovers are longing for a love that is stronger than death.
That's right.
Eros, that love that they're longing for, a love that is stronger than death. Pope Benedict says, the only adequate response to that cry of the heart, which is an erotic cry, Eros is crying out for a love stronger than death. He says, the only adequate response to the cry of Eros is the resurrection of the body. Christ's bodily resurrection is the response to the cry of the heart for a love that is stronger than death. My brothers and sisters, where are you looking for happiness? Where are you looking for fulfillment? Are you looking for it in just amassing material goods of consumption? Are you looking for it in an everlasting spiritual existence that leaves this material world behind? Is there a resurrection that reconciles the spiritual and the physical? Christianity proclaims there is. Explore more about John Paul II's teaching called Theology of the Body that reconciles these worlds. Take a look at the links we have below to learn more, and take a look at our other videos. If you enjoyed this, subscribe and share it with others.